Yeah, what is going on, everybody? This is your boy Rob, host of From My Experience podcast. Whoo-wee, I don't know what's going on in the world, but it's getting a little wild out there. Starting to see a lot of conflict and just issues with people and oof. So the name of this episode is called Choose Wisely. There's just been quite a few things happening, but there's some teachable moments. So we're just gonna get into a few of those things. But how are y'all doing out there? You feeling all right? You're doing okay? Are you taking care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially? Huh? Are you? I hope so, man. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you for the text messages. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for all of the support in any form that you give your boy support here on From My Experience podcast. I really appreciate it, but I'm not going to keep y'all long today, man. This is going to be a highly reflective episode. Oh, man. Listen, y'all. Stress levels is up, man. So, we're going to get right into it. It ties directly into today's show. So, I'm sorry. Just front page news, man. Ja Morant. Anyone who knows me on any type of level knows that I am not a big sports fan at all. I was a Kobe Bryant fan. And once Kobe passed away, I definitely walked away from basketball like that. Nothing wrong with basketball, not a bad sport. I watch the occasional game, but not really my thing. I'm an NFL guy. So, Ja Morant is an impressive guy. The reason I say that is because for someone like me who does not watch sports, I probably couldn't even name you, dead seriously, I probably couldn't even name you 10 or 15 current NBA players right now. Like, that's how bad it is. But Ja Morant, I knew because his name was out there for just his amazing talent and skills, right? Unfortunately, as of late, his behavior has caught up to him. Now, I've heard other stories about things he may have done, for lack of a better word, or just to make a long story less long, he has brought some violent-ish elements to the NBA with some of the trash talk and possible, try me, I'm about that life type of stuff, right? Well, most recently, from what I pieced together from multiple sources, and you probably already know this, he recently was at a strip club, I believe, with his shirt off, and he flashed a gun. And now the NBA is cracking down on him, and nobody knows what his fate's gonna be. And it's sad. And a lot of people are really trashing him and coming down on him, and I feel for him. Yes, it was a bad decision. You took out your phone, you went on Instagram, you decided to go live or hit record, or like, you did this, right? But he's a young guy. When I was his age, I believe he's 23. When I was his age, I cannot tell you how much dumb stuff I did. So all of the people who are criticizing him and talking trash to him, we have the benefit of hindsight. And hindsight is a very powerful tool if you use it correctly. So, yeah, with Ja Morant, we don't know what's going to happen with him, but he has, I think, a $200-something million contract. Like, he has, a dream position. I mean, you made it to the NBA, and now you're in this situation where we don't even know if you're going to be back because the NBA does not play that. And some people have been trying to justify it and say he made a mistake, yada, yada, yada. But you got to remember, when you're part of an organization where you sign a contract, you got obligations. Whether you like those obligations or not, they're paying you for a reason. And the NBA is, I don't want to speak for them, but family-oriented-ish. I mean, they're fans of all ages. They sell merchandise to everybody. So you got very, very young kids watching this stuff, and you have adults who watch this stuff. That's who they cater to. So when you're in an organization like that and you do things like this, you're not representing the organization as a whole well. You're not representing your team well. And you're not representing yourself well, because there's millions of kids who watch you and look up to you. Some people made a comparison. I believe it was Paul Pierce. He made a comparison to this situation of saying, well, we glorify rappers. They hold up guns and make millions of dollars. But what Paul Pierce didn't say is, look at how many rappers have died or gone to prison over their actions. Dead or in prison. And as history has shown us, these rappers ain't all making money. Those of them flashing guns and doing all this crazy stuff are not getting the money and are not getting paid. And that is part of a persona. And we all know in the black community, through just, not in the black community, but record labels have pushed violent music for record sales and money and taking advantage of people. So that's not even a good comparison. So I found it funny he left out the part about how many rappers are locked up or facing charges or died because of that behavior. That's not the element you want in the NBA, which is a family organization. You don't want to have to worry about violence and shootings at an NBA game. Not saying that John Morant did all that, but when you start bringing those types of elements around, I mean, eventually those things will combust. But I'm going to pray for him. He's young. He has a whole life ahead of him. He has a whole NBA career ahead of him. Golden opportunity to not only change his life, but change the lives of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of other people with his talent and skill and the finances he'll have. So I hope that he comes out on top and learns from his mistakes, man. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. That's your front page news. Let's pay some bills.
It's me, it's Christian Jackson, your favorite licensed therapist. I have a quick question for you, and this is no shade. Are you still stuck in that same dating cycle where you end up making choices that don't reflect who you are because you're turning into basically a chameleon, i.e. you mighty morph into whatever your new man or your new woman wants you to be? And your stomach is dropping and you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not taking care of yourself. And yes, these are symptoms of anxiety. Relationships are the trigger, and they hard and they sometimes suck. So what do you need? 5 things that I have in the Grace Method where you can find how to move from being anxiously in love to being more confident in your relationships. Not just dating though, folks, because your kids may be walking all over you too, and you need a voice and they need to hear it, right? Come to your Grace Space. I am building a community of like-minded women who want to get together monthly to discuss how to move from being anxiously connected to their relationships to being more confident just in themselves. And this accountability community will include the option of one-on-one therapeutic coaching calls with me, access to experts, and more. Go to couchwithchristian.com. That is couchwithchristian.com. Follow me on IG at couchwithchristian, and I'll see you there.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So, once again, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. Name of this episode is Choose Wisely. Now, this episode was inspired by a hot topic that's been going around on the internets, and something that shout out to my son General on Instagram. He posted something. So there's been this thing about, let me see if I can find it. There's been this thing about being a responsible parent floating around, and there was one guy who said he didn't want kids and yada yada yada. He got all these baby mamas, and it was just wild. So it's been sparking conversation about men being responsible fathers, people and the decisions that they make, women and the decisions that they make. and all kind of debates and stuff. So what my son posted, and again, this didn't originate with him, but it's been floating around. So he posted about it, and I found it interesting. His Instagram says, I believe every man should take care of their kids. With that being said, if you decide to have a baby with a man you know is irresponsible and then expect him to be responsible, you're irresponsible, respectively. So there were tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people commenting, agreeing, disagreeing, yada, yada, yada. And a lot of the people that disagreed, I think, missed the biggest point. You know, there's a difference between someone lying to you or you being young and making a mistake or you not knowing. He said specifically, if you decide to have a baby with a man you know is responsible, that means you know, dang, he ain't taking care of his other kids. He don't take care of his bills, or he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing in life. I'm gonna sleep with him anyway. Then you get pregnant. I'm gonna have this baby anyway. He'll step up. That's what he's talking about. When you know somebody is irresponsible. Not just, oh, you were young. Y'all both was young. Y'all was both, wilding out. Not that. Knowingly. When you knowingly make a decision like that. Knowing that you have seen the signs. You've got the evidence, but you decide to move forward with it anyway. Everything is telling you, slam on brakes, don't do this. But you decide to do it anyway. A lot of people just seem to dismiss that part and wanted to argue, and I found that funny because reading is fundamental. Like, y'all just actually read what someone is saying instead of being ready to be in argument mode. But I talked about it in my positive vibe. And again, this is not to judge men. This is not to judge women. And this is why I am, I think twice, type once on the internet, because we have the benefit of hindsight. I'm 38 years old. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've had sex. I've done all kinds of stuff. So I can look at someone 10 or 15 years younger than me and say, hey, based on my experience, you don't want to do that, yada, yada, yada. And if they do it, I'm not going to come down on them because they don't have the experience. Some people, you can tell them the stove is hot, don't touch it. They're going to touch it anyway. But that doesn't make them stupid, dumb, and all these other things, and doesn't mean you should yell or fuss at them. They're learning. Just like at one point in time, you learn. Sometimes people make you think you can change them, or you think, my positive influence or overpower this negativity in their life, all kinds of stuff. Right? But, we got to really think. We're not perfect. And that's one of the things that, that's one of the reasons why I definitely encourage you all, if you're new to the show, I always encourage people, filter your social media every now and again. Every now and again, I scroll and I keep seeing pages. And if I keep seeing this one page and I happen to be following, posting negative stuff, you out of here. You blocked. You're gone. I'm not following you. I'm very careful with what I let filter in my social media because I do scroll Instagram. I'm not on there putting out a ton of stuff myself, but I like to scroll and find interesting topics and interesting people and guests and so on and so forth. But I'm very careful of the energy that I take in. And I advise you to do the same. So if you're new here and you haven't heard me say that, there that is. Now, choosing wisely. We all have our boundaries. We all have things that we want in a person. And what I find funny is that, when you make a bad decision, we just seem to be allergic to responsibility. Like, nobody ever wants to take responsibility. When you meet someone or you see someone and you decide, I'm going to have sex with them, you need to think. STDs are real. People lying about being in committed relationships is real. Jealousy is real. Anger is real. Feelings are real. Babies are real. A lot can come along with having sex with someone. And I get it. It's your body. It's your choice. Men and women I'm speaking to when I say this. So don't just think I'm talking about women. It's your body. It's your choice. But guess what? It's also your outcome. So one of the things I talked about on Instagram was like vetting people. What do you know about this person? What does her history look like? Does she already have kids? Are the kids' fathers active? Does he already have kids? Is he active in his kid's life? Like, I'm not saying you got to know every single thing about the person, Me personally, if you're going to give yourself up physically to somebody, you should know something about them. Something. Like, you shouldn't, just be smashing anybody and then you end up pregnant or something, or you end up with STD and you have no way to track this person. You know nothing about this person. You just out here. Like, that's wild. Like, that is your body, your life, and your health you are putting on the line. We don't think about that because the pleasure is there. It feels good. It's nice and all these things. And I wanted to do it, right? And it's spontaneous and it felt good. But you are literally putting your life and your health on the line when you do that. Like, really, really take that in for a second. When you decide to sleep with someone, your life and your health is literally on the line. Like, you are chancing your future. The less information you have, the bigger the risk it is. The absolute bigger risk it is. And there's no guaranteed safe way, right? You can do it because people can lie, right? But you can lessen the chance of it being a horrible outcome by at least learning something. Like, one of my things is I really don't sleep with women who don't have as much to lose as me, if not more. Because when people don't have nothing to lose, they tend to be a bit more reckless, okay? Quite a bit more reckless. But when you have something to lose, whether it be your career, your reputation, yada, 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 those people tend to move a certain type of way. And again, yes, there are exceptions to everything I'm saying, but the likelihood is much lower. Like, nobody wants to sleep with somebody who could possibly cost them their job, or could cost them their house, or could cost them their reputation, or cost them their position in the organization. You know what I'm saying? So when you mess with people who have things to lose, who actually are doing what they're supposed to do in life, who do not want to be derailed, they're probably going to take more precautions and be a bit safer than someone who doesn't. Also, y'all, responsible. Yo, ask questions. Yo, when's the last time you had sex? Was it protected sex? Have you ever had an STD? Do you currently have an STD? Well, let's get tested before we sleep together. Do you have any kids? Oh, how was your relationship like with their parents? With the other parent? And some people may be saying, man, I ain't doing all that because blah, blah, blah. Cool. Do you the way you want to do. But don't get mad later. Don't get mad later when you didn't ask the question and this person ends up pregnant. Then you decide to do your research on the back end and see that, this girl has 3 or 4 baby daddies and, all these kids, and she hooking everybody up on child support. Now you one of them. Or, ladies, you pregnant by this guy, you find out he married, or he got a girlfriend, or he got other kids and he don't take care of those kids, or he ain't trying to be nobody daddy, never wanted kids. Like, ask the questions. Because here's the thing. If somebody really wants to sleep with you, they're going to do one or two things. They're going to lie. And it's pretty easy to catch people in lies because people are dumb and people have social media accounts. They're going to lie, or they're going to keep it real with you and answer your questions. Your life experiences or what your life experiences are, and it's going to be up to you to deduce whether or not the person is being honest or not. I hate saying that, but that's true. Some people just going to lie. But you just have to say to yourself, do I trust this person enough to give my body to them? Again, men and women, do I trust this person enough to give my body to them? And am I willing to accept the results of whatever that may be? Transparency moment. There's been 2 times in my life where I thought I've had women pregnant. One was my girlfriend. One was somebody I was just messing with. I wasn't upset or scared or mad about either one. One, because it was my girlfriend. We were in a committed relationship and we weren't using protection. She's tested and clean. I'm tested and clean. I knew what we were doing. We weren't trying to have a kid, but, it was one of those things. Was I nervous? Yeah, because I was super young, and so was she, of age, of course. We were both in college. But there was that time where I thought it would happen. But I was okay with it because I'm like, this is a decision that we both made, and I wouldn't be upset with having a baby with her because I know this person and I know she'll be a good mother. The second person, same thing. She was a hard worker, dedicated. She had just as much to lose as I did, and we made a decision. We both got tested. We showed each other the test results. I said, hey, I don't perform as well with condoms. She said, I don't like condoms. All right, we're going to do this. Yeah, we're going to do this. Boom. You know what I'm saying? We made an adult decision, but we asked questions. We got to know each other a bit, and we did what we did. Needless to say, I'm not a father. So, yeah. And I don't believe in abortion. So I didn't go down that road of, oh, you need to abort anything or nothing like that. That's just how things are. I don't have any kids. So that's the way that I roll. Has it cost me some opportunities with women? Absolutely. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. Which is why I'm in a position of STD free and child free. And had I been, I wouldn't have been upset with those situations because those were informed, fully consented decisions made by two adults who thought things through, who talked things through. You know? And I knew, not God forbid, but I knew had those kids came to life or they were to have my child, I'd be okay. I would have had a stable, cool partner that I knew I could get along with and we could raise a child together. That's a lot of deep thinking, and I know most people don't think that far. And you do have those moments where it's like, hey, you out with your boys or you out with your girls, y'all out, you vibe with someone, y'all go back to the crib and it might pop off. At the very least, use a condom, protect yourself. At the very least. At the very least. Even in, like, when I say vet and ask these questions, if y'all in the same city, same town, you can find a lot out about a person in about a week. Shoot, 2 or 3 days through text. Like me, I get to it. One of the first questions I ask women, like, whatever my intentions are, I let them know what my intentions are. And then I ask them, what do you want from me? Do you just want company? Do you want sex? You looking for a relationship? I ask that question a few times because I need to know what you want from me, because I'm going to tell you what I want from you. And I'm very upfront because I don't like my time wasted and I'm not going to waste your time. But as far as what my son posted, you got to think about that, man. If someone is showing you who they are, believe them. If they are showing you that they're irresponsible, don't take care of stuff, like, dog, if you know she got 3-4 kids, and again, I'm not trying to stereotype anyone, but if you know this woman is living it, I'm just gonna not gonna just harp on mothers, because it ain't just women with kids. There's people out here with STDs. There's people out here scamming people. There's people out here doing all kinds of things, and sex and entangling people is involved. Vet these people. Look at them. Is it worth the risk? Men and women, again. What are they doing with their life? Who are they really? Is it something I want to be involved in? Just to say it was fun. You want to laugh and have a story to tell. But what happens when things don't go your way? What happens if you get the gift that keeps on giving? What happens if a baby becomes a this? What happens if you get caught in the crib and their wife comes home, or the husband comes home, or a significant other comes home, or a parent comes home, or they're involved in something and somebody running in their spot, you know what I'm saying? On some robbery stuff or whatever. Like, really think about the chances that you take when you decide to let someone in your space and in your life like that. That's what I think the conversation needs to revolve around, because here's the thing. People want to throw blame and call people deadbeats and, good, you nasty. Y'all chose to sleep together. You chose this person. Y'all chose one another. It was a choice. So we're not talking about women who were taken advantage of and sexually assaulted. We're not talking about men who were taken advantage of and sexually assaulted. Not talking about them, obviously. But I have to say that. We're talking about people who made a decision. You made the decision and then you mad at the results. And also, we're not talking about people who were lied to. I understand. Some of y'all get lied to. I didn't know he had he double life. Or she had a double life. Or he said, yeah, I'm going to be there. We're going to do this, yada, yada, yada. And then when the baby got here, he goes. I get it. I'm not talking about y'all. If someone lied to you, you can't help that, The only thing you can try to do is when you start to learn someone and get to know them, just see if their actions match their words. See if their actions match their words. Did they only talk to you between 9 and 11 p.m. every day? Well, do they only want to come to the crib? They don't want to be seen in public with you? Nah, don't take no pictures with me. Small stuff. And everything isn't a red flag or a warning sign, but peep game. Pay attention. It's there. People wear their relationships. And when you're involved in things you shouldn't be involved in, or even things you should be involved in, there are going to be elements in your life, and there are going to be things that people will be able to see. They become a part of you. So choose wisely. Choose wisely. Think about the decisions that you make when you invite people into your life, whether it's friendships, business partnerships, sex. Get to know these people. Think about who they are and say, do I want this in my life? Because there's been people who've tried. You don't ever text me. You don't ever call. We don't ever hang out. And I'm good. I'm good. I'm old enough. I'm to the point in my life where I know who the type of people I don't vibe with. Whether it's friendships, whether it's business, there's just certain styles I don't mesh with. There's just certain women there's certain people I don't want to be friends with. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them or that they're doing anything wrong. It just don't match my energy. It doesn't. I've been there. I've seen traits. I'm like, nah, you act just like such and such. You pushy. You try to do the peer pressure tricks and all that. I'm good. I am good. So that's what I want to talk about, man. That's really it for y'all. I hope you're out there making wise decisions. If you are a parent or a friend and you have a friend or you have a child and they're not making wise decisions, or they're getting to a point in their life where they're about to start making these types of decisions, please sit down and talk to them. Please. We, in the Black community specifically, we have FOMO so bad. Fear of missing out so bad. Man, I should have slept with her. Or man, I should have did that deal. Or man, I should have yada yada. Listen. Yes, nobody knows the day or the hour that they're going to die. That is true. But do not fall for this is a once in a lifetime opportunity crap. I've had people say that to me 7, 8, 9, 10 times a year. I'm like, dang, you getting a lot of once in a lifetimes for it to be once in a lifetime. You getting a lot of them. That's kind of frequent, right? It ain't, man. The world is a big place. You can always move to a new location. There's just so many options you have. Now you can hop on social media. There's so many options that you have. Do not let FOMO mess you up and throw you off track, trick you off the streets, whatever it may be. Don't let FOMO do that to you. Don't. There are enough stories and examples out there of people who are miserable with the decisions that they've made. Go on social media and start scrolling. Look at the news. People made these decisions. And I always talk to y'all about the power to choose on this podcast. You had the power to choose. Yes, no, maybe. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way. I'm not going to do it at all. You had the power to choose. All right? So don't let FOMO jack you up. That's all I got for y'all. Let me holler at my brothers. What up, Kings? It's your boy Rob, host of From My Experience podcast. Still here, man. Black brothers, if you just listened to this episode about choosing wisely, you need to choose wisely, my brothers. Speaking specifically to black men, I've seen, myself have fallen victim to the decisions that I've made, and by the grace of God, I've made it out unscathed. But one of the things I had to do moving forward was sit down and reflect on some of the decisions that I've made, some of the things that I've said, some of the things that I've done, things that I've engaged in. And I've had to say to myself, that was bad. That could have ended badly. I could have died. I could have ended up in prison. I could have got myself hurt. I could have gotten someone else hurt, whatever the case may be. Sometimes we need to sit down and really think. And then when you really think and say to yourself, Why did I make that decision? What made me do that? Look at those elements. Was it peer pressure? Was it an emotion? Did someone trigger something? Was it based on past trauma? Was it FOMO? What was it that made you make this decision? From there, you can find what you need to change. Typically, when I made bad decisions, is because I was either stressed, it was out of desperation, or I was trying to be quote unquote cool, showing off. Then I had to learn the people around you who really love you and deal with you, not deal with you, but accept you for who you are, well, you don't need to show off for them because they already love you because they know you. If you are depressed or you have emotional issues, find healthy ways to release that. Exercise, gaming, DJing, rap, write poetry, art, whatever. There's millions of different hobbies out there that you can engage in. Therapy. There's so many healthy ways to release that. Find healthy ways to do that. But you can't get to that place until you sit down and say, all right, why did I make this decision? Well, like, for real. Like, even if you don't have this conversation with anybody else, I would hope that you have someone you can talk to. But even if you don't, really sit and look in the mirror and say, yo, why did I do that? Because most of the times when you make a dumb decision and you get the results, and by the time everything plays itself out and you look back on it, you typically feel dumb or bad, or you have a regret about it because you realize I did this one thing. This is what I got. This is what I thought I was going to get out of it. And sometimes, heck, you get exactly what you think you're going to get out of it, but it still turns out not to be worth it. It turns out not to be worth it. So, brothers, please go out there, reflect, take some time, think about some of the decisions that you've made, learn from those past decisions, and do better moving forward. All right? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for y'all this week, man. Choose wisely, y'all. Choose wisely. Specifically when it comes to your sexual partners. Man, choose wisely. You run the risk of connecting with this person for the rest of your life. Well, potentially, because they may not be there, you know. But there's risk involved, man, and you need to take it a lot more serious. A whole lot more serious. It has an impact on your life. And STD is no joke. Thank God I've never had one. Children are no joke. I don't have any yet, but as someone who's had a career in education, as someone who is babysat, kids take a lot of effort, energy, and money. It's a serious thing, man. But also think about your energy, man. Y'all exchanging energy when you do that. All right? FME_podcast on Instagram, FME_podcast on Fanbase, From My Experience podcast on Facebook, man. I love y'all. I hope y'all having a great 2023. We gonna keep on pushing. It's March. Woo! Year's starting to already pick up already, eh? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, till next time, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, financially. We'll catch you. Peace.